Hi everyone, my name is Jack Stern, and here's the latest and greatest when it comes to music. Coming up first is the latest album, 22 a Million, from indie folk darling Bon Iver. Justin Vernon has normally played things pretty straight with this band, but this latest album doesn't shy away from taking a more abstract direction. If you need proof, then take a look at the cover art and the very freeform track titles, such as 715-Creeks, where the E's are Greek symbols. While initially I thought a lot of this kind of stuff was a little frivolous, the music didn't disappoint me at all. This is the most experimental release ever to come from Bon Iver, and builds on Justin Vernon's airy acoustic sound with some darker, more artificial electronic elements. Some experiments pay off and others kind of stagnate. Parts of the record felt a little bit too ambient, and others didn't really have the same emotional depth as some of Bon Iver's older work. However, every part of the record still feels interesting enough, even if it didn't fire on all cylinders the whole time, making this a very solid release at about a 4 out of 5 for me. Mick Jenkins brings us our next new record with his debut album, The Healing Component. This Chicago rapper has so far made music that has a conscious tinge, a good sense of lyricism, and solid production. And all these things brought him success with his Waters mixtape in 2014. However, I don't think that Mick does a very good job of following up this tape, as The Healing Component is mainly weak and pretentious. The Waters was definitive in its nautical production themes, and the lyrics were strong enough to reflect that. The opposite can of course be said for The Healing Component, where Mick tries to wrap some cliche thoughts about love around the concept of him being a really pretentious prophet who is here to educate us all. The result is an overall disappointment with a couple of tracks and instrumentals that managed to be diamonds in the rough. I'm feeling a 2 out of 5 on this album. Next up is Solange Knowles, coming out with a new album called A Seat at the Table. While I haven't really been a big fan of the smattering of other projects Solange has released before, this new record caught me by surprise. The first thing that caught my attention was the impressive list of collaborators brought on for features and production credits on this album. The result is an album that is straightforward, but still strong. The interview interludes and the passionate lyrics give this album a sense of weight whenever it delves into topics about racial injustice. The song Don't Touch My Hair does a good job of showing this part off as Solange sings about what her hair means to her in a racial sense. This album hits most of its marks and is a worthy effort from Solange, coming in at about a 4 out of 5 for me. The last record I want to discuss is Greenday's latest album, Revolution Radio. Greenday has been around for a while and has had many different phases in its career. This latest record is more just a return to basics, with not much else being brought to the table. With songs like the title track of the record, you can feel a collective shrug as you and other listeners wonder what Greenday was really trying to accomplish with this record. Billy Joe Armstrong said the song was about a protest he got out of his car to join. But nowhere in the song are we given any interesting details about the protest, because we just get boring platitudes about being rebellious and finding the truth. The basic approach to the rock music on this record ultimately turns out to be more boring than nostalgic. This kind of stuff is why the record falls completely flat with a rating of 1 out of 5. I really don't see this record bringing much relevancy back to Green Day at all. That's a wrap. Tune in next time for more of the latest new music on Lowdown.